This one was a 9 for me.
Fuck you. Fuck you. This is
I
an
love
8.
this chapter better than the last one.
Oh my god,
surprisingly.
fuck you! No! The last chapter was a self-contained fucking masterpiece. This was just like, I enjoyed it, but it was more wheel spinning without a payoff.
You gotta love to be gone back yet. Lobster's in Jedi, don't you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnet and Friends. I'm here with my buddy, Goro Gregoro.
What's up?
And we're here to talk about Hunter x Hunter, Chapter 384. The power of Hunter x Hunter compels me to drag Goro to discuss this. So, thank you so much to the commenter who left an image to that link of that,
Oh my god, that was such a great image. You gotta, like, show that in your video.
I'll include, like, images of it. It's a really useful guide to explaining the Succession War, explaining each one of the princes, and, you know, all of their various benefactors and who they're working for. It's a wonderful resource. It's the best resource.
Yes, absolutely. But not entirely updated now with this most recent chapter.
No, but
because it introduces other members of the other crime family.
So let's get into this. You like this chapter more because we got like half the chapter devoted towards understanding how the criminal
politics
exchanges
of like how crime violence works. Like the politics of crime violence is like of crime family violence on other crime family members.
Yes, apparently, in Kakin, you can't just like, kill somebody. You got to ask your boss permission for it. And then once it's like agreed upon, the two bosses confer, and then there's like some sort of equivalent exchange depending on like, the person who's killed, how many people were killed, whether or not more people have to die, or, you have to pay money or exchange. And it's like this fucking tradition that's like gone on for like years in the underworld of the fucking Kakin royal family.
It's like, I mean, it just does seem like very overly bureaucratic for like, especially like a crime family. But it seems like they do like harp upon. They have harped before about like how there has to be balance between the families and everything. Well, how they have to coexist.
I wonder if like it feels like a Yakuza kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know in the comments if anyone can research it, but it feels like that's something that like a Yakuza tradition would have. That like, it has to be agreed upon, and then there's recompense from like the different Yakuza gangs or whatever.
Right. I suppose it could be. If it's just like really highly organized crime, then with big established like crime families, like maybe, yeah.
But,
maybe that's how it goes.
We learned that, like, it's a big deal. Now the poor fucking spiders who just want to find Hisoka, they're getting wrapped into all this stupid bullshit where...
And they just want to, like, jump past all this bureaucratic nonsense. They're just like, oh, so we just have to kill her in order to get to Hisoka, right?
Yeah, and now they're like, oh, well, we gotta kill her, because apparently, like, the fact that she hasn't reported in just goes to show that, like,
when I say her, I mean, the what's her name?
Morena. We now learned that her name is Morena.
Morena, the other crime...
The head of the Haley family.
Yeah, the other crime boss.
With her 20 subordinates, which she gave Nen powers, who get stronger the more they kill people.
Honestly, that's probably the most dangerous one of the crime boss families, because it seems the most wild and unpredictable one. Yeah, and all of them have Nen now. That's a big thing.
They all have Nen. They all get more powerful the more they kill people. They all have incentive to kill people. And now it seems like the spiders are getting roped into either killing or locating her. Because, we get that scene where we see all the crime bosses, and then we learn, apparently, despite the fact that they're the second Rakers, that they get, like, a huge, spacious accommodations filled with every luxury, and, their carrying capacity is second only to the king.
Yes, I love those little details like that. That was that I I I crave details like that about Hunter x Hunter. Just like, oh, I want to know how the crime bosses like um what their wealth is like comparable to like the princes, because it it's kind of interesting to compare the two. Like the crime boss families seem very well off, even compared to the princes themselves. Like
It's
I'm wondering
interesting.
how those comparisons match up.
It feels like to bring a real world comparison. It feels like a Fred Trump to Donald Trump kind of comparison, where like
Oh my god.
the king, can't acknowledge them because they're illegitimate people, but he still treats them really, really well. These guys don't look like they're except for Morena, who is like bitter, and I assume we'll get like some sort of backstory about how she was really treated. But the other two seem like they're living pretty well.
I was reading on the Hunterpedia. Apparently, uh, not only was she the illegitimate daughter of the king of Kakin, but also his. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if I read this in the manga at all, but I was just reading it on the Hunterpedia website, Wikipedia. It said that she was also the mistress as well of the king. So that might have something to do with how, fucked up psychologically she is.
How is that even? Oh, so she's like his incest daughter who also sleeps with him.
Yeah.
So basically, there's another element of what you call it, Chinatown, the classic movie. She's my sister. She's my daughter. She's my sister. She's my daughter. She's my daughter and my sister.
No, but it's more like, wait, what?
Well, have you ever seen Chinatown?
uh, Chinatown? Which
It's a
movie?
really famous classic noir movie with Jack Nicholson.
Okay. All right.
And in it, like the central mystery he uncovers is that this like big evil water baron who's like doing this fucked up shit in Los Angeles is basically, there's this woman and he learns that, her child is the incest child of this water baron who slept with his own daughter.
Oh boy.
So there's this season where like Jack Nicholson is kind of slapping her to get an answer, and she says, "Oh, she's my sister. Oh, she's my daughter. She's my sister. She's my daughter." And then she says, "She's my daughter and she's my sister."
Oh my god. Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
so
I don't
fucked up.
see anything in Hunter x Hunter to like confirm that. I'm gonna check out that Hunter x Hunterpedia. That
Yeah.
would be really fucked up if
Yeah.
that's the case.
Because I think that might have a lot to do with why she's mentally unstable.
That would be like oh man, Hunter x Hunter's gone dark, but that's like a super level of dark.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything to confirm that theory, but now we're going to be
I
reading
mean-
these chapters very closely because that would make so much sense that like why all the other like crime bosses are like living large and like very content while she just like wants to like set everything on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does, I think. Also, yeah, it makes you wonder, like, now that makes her connection with Tesseric a little bit interesting too. Like, why do you think Tesseric like supported her crime boss family to begin with? Like
Well,
he seems like a very like chaotic person as well in some sense.
That would be my guess, is that like Tesseric supported her because he's like an evil, nasty person, and she's an evil, nasty, chaotic person. So
Yeah.
birds of a feather flock together. So that's how I saw it. In my view, that like Tesseric's the most evil prince, so he's gonna support the most evil, chaotic crime boss.
Right. And it's also interesting too, because we're learning now that Tesseric doesn't like the crime boss right now, the head. he doesn't like
Well,
her.
I've read that conversation again and again, and it's like very ambiguous. But it seems like he's of the opinion, because yeah, there are two things. There's the crime boss, and then there's the Tesseract portion of this chapter. And it seems like he's sort of aware of the fact that she's like not reporting in, but he's like, I'll take care of it eventually. Later, but I got to continue my Nen murder training.
Yeah, right. He's got to leave it to his other peeps to try and take care of this like annoyance that, she might be messing things up.
Yeah, because like the fact that she's not in her quarters is like a big sign that like basically it's open war and open rebellion, and the fact that she's these assassins going around killing people. And the mafia says that it'll just be a war until the last man is standing.
Yeah, and I'm sure Tesseric wouldn't be happy that she's acting like out of line, even like that.
Yeah, that would be really interesting, and it would be a really good way to show off his Nen abilities.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Because we've seen that like Tesseract is kind of
two Nen beasts now.
Yeah.
Two Nen beasts.
You like that? It isn't enough for him to have fucking one Nen beast. He has fucking two Nen beasts.
This is gonna be so fucking crazy. Like, we don't even know what the first Nen beast does.
No, and he's got a second one, and he still technically doesn't even have a power.
He still hasn't mastered his like ultimate technique or Hatsu or whatever.
Well, here's what a lot of people are speculating is that like they think that what Theta's gonna do is that she's teaching him Zetsu. So she
wants to attack him while he's in Zetsu?
Yeah, but some people are saying he's gonna do that thing that's like Zetsu but not Zetsu Im. And he'll have like, because he's such a genius, he'll have learned it already, then he'll unleash his like Nen power on her.
Wait. Say that again?
If you go to Hunter x Hunter and you go look at Nen, there's like a power...
I was actually looking this up earlier today, too. I know what Im is like when you make your aura invisible.
Yeah, it's like to give you an idea that you're like either have no aura or fool your opponent into thinking that you're in a state of Zetsu.
Right. But you're actually, just hiding your aura and...
So that's what people are thinking, that like he's well, because like that's not the next step. Zetsu, we essentially know that like it's something to learn, and it is like something to learn on the path of ultra Nen mastery, but she wants to teach it to him. And there's that part where like the evil creepy horse monster's looking at her, and it's like, ooh, I'm gonna do something bad to you. And then she's like, no, I sincerely want him to learn Nen, and this is a real part of Nen. But then I'm going to do that, which means that, like, it seems to imply that she's going to try and kill him. But obviously she's not going to succeed.
I'm a little bit confused by Theta's motivations now. Like, from the very beginning, she was like, I cannot teach this man Nen. But now, as she's teaching him further along, I think she is more concerned about saving her own skin. 2, she maybe feels like some genuine like desire to teach him to be a better Nen user.
Well,
but, like, in her own mind, it sounds like that's what her goal is.
Originally, it was like two purposes: to like make him. Well, one, there's probably the sense that like if you're a master and you're teaching a prodigy, there's like a sense of ownership over that prodigy. Like, oh my god, I've birthed this incredible genius, and it was taking inspiration from me. There's a sense of pride. Then there's also the sense that like, oh, maybe I can mitigate him, but it seems like she's given up on that fact because he just keeps on getting more powerful. She thought she could like teach him Nen bad. And there's also the sense of danger in the fact that like, he heard that like, oh, Krapika says he could teach Nen in like 2 weeks. Is that true? And then there was that scene where we thought he was going to fuck her up, but then she just got that wound on her cheek.
Yeah. Yeah, from the Nen beast.
But now it seems like, she tried that, but she can't avoid it because Tesserac's a smart guy. He's going to like become suspicious, so she has to go full force. So now she's like gotten to the point where like she just thinks she has to kill him. So that's why she wants to get him into Zetsu, because that's going to be her best opportunity. Because hopefully, the idea is that, like, if he's in a state of Zetsu, because the Nen beasts need to, like, parasitically feed off of Nen, if he goes into Zetsu, the Nen beasts will be, temporarily disabled.
But I'm so confused by some of the.
That's the subtext of what it's.
As of, from reading the chapter, just something that she said in her mind. As of now, from the very bottom of my heart, I want this man to grow and develop. But then the very next panel, she says, like this, I can still do it tomorrow.
Yeah, which implies that she's gonna probably try and kill him.
So maybe like right now she's experiencing it. I kind of want him to grow, but I know deep down I have to still kill him.
Yeah. Well, I guess the idea is that, like, the better at Zetsu he is, the more easier it'll be to kill him.
Okay, so she's gonna probably like do it in the most stealth way, like probably like shoot out her aura at him while he's in Zetsu state.
Yeah, that, or she'll, like, unveil whatever her Hatsu Nen ability is and, like, unveil her special power. She's playing a dangerous game and she's obviously going to lose. And Tesseric is, like, a very, like, American psycho misogynist. So, I could definitely see him, like, killing Theta first and then he goes after Morena as, like, a test of his skill.
But it's interesting, like during the whole course of this, like they've developed like a very respectable like teacher student relationship. Like
that is true. He does seem to respect her to a certain degree, more so than other people.
Yeah, and maybe that is making the Theta like second guess herself about like maybe I shouldn't go through with this.
No, I think she's still terrified. I mean, Greg, like Goro.
Yes.
The scene opens with like scattered like intestines and fingers being mopped up on the floor by like we don't even know if that he was just like taking a break and that's how he took a break. He just had like some poor woman from the slum who he cut up. We don't know if that's him using his Nen ability on a guard. We have no context, but it's like to remind us that Tesseric is a monster.
Yeah.
And I do love that we just like have them mopping it up and we have no context for how it happened or why it happened, but it just lets us us fill in like the worst details.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That did happen. But at the same time, I guess I feel like the Theta probably still because of that she still wants to preserve her own life in some ways. Like she's terrified of Tesseric, but also thinks that within the student-teacher boundaries, within the student-teacher relationship, like she is safe.
No, I think like the fact that he threatened her and he's like, "You stupid bitch," just goes to show that like she's just a tool. She's just like a woman who can give him something that he wants.
Yeah,
only it's not sex or companionship; it's Nen powers. And once she gives him what she wants, I think Tesseric.
I think the Theta is probably she's playing a losing game no matter what.
Yeah, she's playing a losing game.
Yeah.
She's walking on eggshells, and she's like, it's just a question of when she's gonna step on the landmine.
Yeah,
and like
it's
the
kind
best
of like
case,
very tragic to think of that. Like
the best case scenario for her is if she did nothing, but then she just have to sit around as like Tesseric like goes on his murder spree, torturing women and children or whatever, with his Nen powers.
Yeah. Well, in some respects, sometimes mastering a skill of the mind makes you a more I don't know, uh, more morally responsible individual.
Not him. Like, I think that blood and fingers and intestines on the ground was like showed you that Tesseric is a bad dude, and he's gonna be a bad dude for a long time. Or no, teaching Nen has made him an even worse dude.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
fair.
like
That's fair.
here's a question. If
But
Donald,
maybe the Theta is that's what the Theta is telling herself. She's thinking that I'm trying to understand the Theta's motivations right now.
she
But I
wants
think she wants to
her
put
motivation
her
is that
on
she's gonna teach him Zetsu, and she's gonna try and kill him.
But that dialogue at the end also didn't make much sense too to me. It was like,
Well, it was her pleading, saying that I'm seriously trying to teach you, Nen. I'm very sincere. So whatever abilities your awful, creepy Nen model monster beast has,
she also
I
said,
am sincere. I in my attempt, I don't have an ulterior motive.
but she also said,
Because it is like sizing her up. It is like looking her up and down like a delicious snack that it's going to do horrible things to her.
right. What else did she say? She said, I want to speed up the process. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that's what she said to Tesseric. She said that I want to speed up the process, but could be that could be true, but she wants to speed up the process so he can learn Zetsu and then she can kill him.
Yeah. Because she just sees that, like, the more he learns, the more dangerous he becomes. And it's like, he's got one Nen Beast. Now he's got a fucking second Nen Beast.
Right.
And he hasn't even discovered his Hatsu ability. Which we can
Yeah.
only assume is going to be like some sort of horrible, Sharingan, I torture you for 72 hours.
So basically he has Sasano like right from the get-go after realizing his Sharingan powers.
Yeah,
and now
he got Sasano, and he's got like the mind rape Mangekyou, where he sticks you with 1,000 knives and 1,000 dildos for all eternity.
right from his like first initial trading with Chakra.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. He awakened his Sharingan. He got Sasano, and now it's just a question of when he gets his Rinnegan.
what else can he do? It's like now what's your ability?
Yeah, we still don't know what his ability is, but maybe that Nen Beast is, but I don't think so. I think like Togashi's gonna give him a really fucked up Hatsu.
Yeah, I think so. That's interesting that he got another Nen Beast from harnessing Nen and not really realizing it himself. So that's pretty odd. Like, how come Tesseric didn't realize that?
Maybe he
Nen
does.
Beast-
We have no idea. We need to spend more time with Tesseric, which sadly we didn't, despite how dense this chapter was with information.
Yeah, maybe Tesseric does know, and he's testing the Theta.
We'll see. All we know is that like Theta's gonna get fucked when she tries to kill him with But I do really want to see I want to see Tesseric versus Benjamin. I want to see and apparently the banquet still hasn't happened yet.
What?
I thought
that was a banquet.
No, apparently it wasn't. It was like just some sort of celebration before the banquet. I think in this chapter they say like 23 hours before the banquet.
Are you sure? Let me see.
I don't think it happened.
I think that was a banquet.
Am I wrong, or is that just something I read from the preview?
Seventh day, Saturday, 10:30 p.m. I don't see anything indicating when the banquet happens. Because I think we experienced the banquet already.
I read somewhere that the banquet hasn't happened and we're still like waiting for it.
Okay, all right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong about the banquet. So
there is some other text that confirms your thing about the Zetsu thing. If you can't stop, there's a little side text on the side of the last page of Hunter x Hunter. If you can't stop it, then the only thing you can do is speed it up until that moment comes. And that moment is probably going to be Theta's attempt at killing Tesseract.
Well, the really interesting thing is she going to do... I guess she's going to do it with her Nen powers, because if she does it with her Nen powers, she can, like, try and say that, like, oh, he just died randomly. I didn't kill him, or no one killed him.
Yeah. So, yeah, she could just do it with just her Nen. But, I mean, she's still risking her life against the other Nen beasts. Yeah. The other two Nen beasts, like, surrounding Tesseract right now.
Yeah, it's a bad idea, especially when we have no idea what her power is.
Yeah, okay, you're dealing with Tesseract, who is, like, a genius. He's, like, American Psycho genius. 2, you're dealing with the Guardian Nen beast. And 3, you're dealing with Tesseract's, like, other unknown Nen beasts. And that's... Oh boy.
It's a really fucked up situation.
We just gotta put Tesseract, Crollo, and Preston in the room.
And Hisoka. Don't forget Hisoka.
Oh yeah, Hisoka. Oh, but I maybe putting Jing in there too is probably too much to ask for.
Oh, I would love that so much. Which asks me a question. Now that things are even more complicated, out of like the 5 different plot threads that we have right now, what would you like to see continue forward? You want to see more Krapika? Do you want to see more Prince action? You want to see Wobble? Or would you rather see this crime family? Or do you want to see the spiders deal with the crime family?
I want to see the spiders deal with the crime family. I want to see how they interact with the Leo family.
The Haley family?
Especially the one who's like level plus 22, who's able to teleport almost anywhere.
Yeah, he's able to like cut holes. The guy who kind of looks like Hisoka because he's got a crescent moon tattoo, but the ghetto Hisoka guy.
Yeah, I want to see how the spiders deal with him and eventually get to the Halil crime boss.
So much going on in this fucking succession war. Jesus Christ.
I also wouldn't mind to see like a chapter. On another note, I wouldn't mind seeing a whole chapter dedicated to Illumi trying to hunt down Hisoka within the ship.
Yeah, Hisoka's just like the wild card that we're like, eventually, we're just going to like, you're going to turn the page.
Wait, did I say Hisoka hunting down Illumi?
You said Illumi hunting Hisoka.
Yeah, right.
Because even that fight would be like that would be almost as worthy as like the Crollo versus Hisoka fight.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to see I want to see like at least half a chapter dedicated to Illumi hunting down Hisoka, like using his needle's abilities to like capture people and like do like scouting reports for him, and then every now and then like some of his like mind controlled people don't show up, and Illumi can like narrow down Hisoka's location based on that.
At this point, I'd say Hisoka's like a great white shark who we're waiting to like appear. we don't know who he's gonna attack. For all we know, maybe he goes after Benjamin or Tesseract. But like he seems like he's got a really big grudge against Crollo. So if anything, those guys are first. But I would love.
Do you think Hisoka has full knowledge of the Succession War at this point?
Good question. Maybe, like, for all we know, Hisoka like uses his bungee gum to like make a face so he can blend in on the ship. So like I could see that happening. Like, you know, you see this like random dude who's like on the lower decks. He walks into a closet and then you see it's Hisoka.
That'd be pretty cool. But
yeah, like why couldn't he? He should be able to do that with texture surprise and bungee gum.
yeah, it's amazing how many things you can do with bungee gum. It's like fucking
bungee gum.
It's like fucking Luffy's powers, honestly, in some ways. It's like Luffy's powers with rubber.
It's the most boring but surprisingly versatile power.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see him, like, you know, we getting that. I'm still waiting for that, like, when we have, like, a full page spread and we just see Hisoka's face and we're like, oh, shit, it's Hisoka! Oh, damn!
Oh, man. Yeah. Actually, if the ship, does the whole ship know about the Succession War? I feel like I mean, they don't know. They don't know all the details. Probably they don't know about the Nen Beast and everything. That's for sure.
Well, the whatchamacallit, the Zodiacs know, and obviously all the
yes,
bodyguards know.
The Zodiacs don't, but if the rest of the ship knew, then I think they're afraid all chaos will break loose.
That's what good old Cowman is.
Yeah, I think. Do you remember there was this one scene where the cow guy was like talking to all the delegates?
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
ship
it
or
was
something
before
like that.
the last hiatus.
Yeah, and I think he was explaining like what was going on with the Succession War a little bit, but not revealing everything. He kind of like lied a little bit, but he's like,
he made it out to seem a little worse than it was, just so he could have, like, you know, emergency crisis control, where he basically said that, like, we don't have enough police to police the 300 people. There's like one police officer for 300 people. That's not enough. We have this situation.
There's more than 300 people on the ship. There's like 3,000.
Well, no. The idea is, like, you know, how many, you know, we have like 20,000 police officers and there's like 3 million. So that's like one person per 300 people to police 300 people.
Right. And he said, you know, if there's like a riot on the ship, you know, it's over. We can't.
There's nothing we can do. And you know, it looks like we're close to like destabilizing everything.
Yeah. So that's one thing they really want to avoid, you know, riots on the ship.
Yeah. So all right, let's wrap this up. What would you give this chapter?
This one was a 9 for me.
Fuck you. Fuck you. This is
I
an
love
8.
this chapter better than the last one.
Oh my god, fuck you. No. The last chapter was a self-contained fucking masterpiece. This was just like, I enjoyed it, but it was more wheel spinning without a payoff.
I mean, I love the wheel spinning, to be honest. I love all those like fucking like complicated details of things going on in this story. I love, like, you know, diving into the crime family politics. I love like learning the relationship between Tesseric and the Theta even better. As the Theta like realizes there's a growing danger of teaching Tesseric and what his new capabilities are, powers are, like Tesseric's relationship with, you know, the crime family.
You really love that so much. I almost wonder if your favorite story of all time was that episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force with the Ghost of Christmas Past. You remember that with like the turkey where it just keeps on giving exposition in the wars of 2012, and then the Goblatrons attacked.
Oh, that was stupid. I didn't like that one. This is not stupid. This is awesome. This ties into, you know, what's going to happen like 50 chapters later in the series. This is great. I love this stuff.
You just love even more complicated details being thrown out. And now the stupid mafia has a whole system, and that's being broken down by Morena, right?
Yes. And the spiders are going to be the outside influence that could potentially ignite a whole crime family war. But, you know, the other crime families are like, we can't we can't really like. We should probably stop the spiders to stop an all-out crime family war, but if the war was already going to happen anyway, we might as well let the spiders loose and do the dirty work for us.
Well, they underestimate the spiders. The funniest thing about like the spiders putting up with all the crime family bullshit.
No, I think they estimate them pretty. They at first they underestimated, but now I think they estimate them pretty well.
No,
like they are an X factor.
But I feel like the spiders, if they wanted to, could just kill all of the crime family. Because
yes,
the crime families, with the exception of like the handful of people that have superpowers, and even them, they're probably just like basic bitch Nen powers. Like the spiders we've seen can like murder mafia people like nothing.
Yes.
So
yes,
if
like,
anything, the spiders are just being nice because they assume having like, you know, at least 2 of the 3 families on their side will help them find Hisoka faster.
Yes, because the crime families have a whole network of informants that can help locate Hisoka. That's one thing that the spiders would find useful.
Because it is funny because we know Finks and Nobunaga could probably kill those guys very easily. The spiders are all, you know, mostly pretty powerful, and collectively they could probably kill half the people on the ship.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to see. Is I'd love to see a spider versus like a Zodiac.
That could happen. I mean, didn't they run into a spider though? They ran into Illumi and Illumi's,
Kalucha, but they didn't do anything. They just said that they're on the ship for a job, and you know they didn't. You know, Illumi is not reckless enough that he'll kill people unnecessarily. But you know, as we know, if he really wants to, he'll just turn people into needlemen and just like create a huge mob of awkward zombies.
Yeah. It made me wonder, like, how come they didn't, like, try and investigate Illumi even further, or... I mean, I imagine they don't want to, like, start an all-out battle on the ship right then and there, but just, like, maybe they should, like, have someone, like, kind of, like...
tail him or something?
Yeah.
Maybe, but
I don't know.
The Zodiacs are as much of an X factor.
Make sure nothing bad happens.
As of right now, we're like really hoping that the Zodiacs are really powerful and pimp, but we haven't seen anything to like show us that they're powerful and pimp.
Well, they're got their hands full trying to manage everything going on in the ship. Like there's Zodiacs like dedicated to the lower levels of the ships and make sure they all have like medical supplies and
they're trying to keep everything running. Although technically we haven't seen any of them with the exception of the cow guy.
Yeah, I think we saw God, it's so funny to think of. Fuck, what's his name again? The tall guy with glasses.
The dog girl?
No, tall guy. Punches vortex.
Oh, Leorio.
Leorio.
Yeah, we haven't seen Leorio in a while. And
he's a Zodiac now.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. Like the Zodiacs are, these are the most powerful hunters who train with net arrow. Oh, to become a Zodiac, you just have to be a guy and just be there at the right moment. you were popular in the election because you punched Ging. You're going to join our fucking ranks. I hate it. I hate the fact that Leorio's a Zodiac.
Yeah. Actually... I believe it was cow guy who convinced Kurapika to become a Zodiac, right?
Yeah,
and Kurapika was like, "You should make Leorio a Zodiac too."
They lost Ging and Pariston, so they needed 2 Zodiacs.
Right.
So they got Leorio because he was just fucking there, and then he says, "Oh, you should get this guy Kurapika." And then Cow Guy goes to see Kurapika because Kurapika's now.
Because
boss.
Leorio was popular from the election, and Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Oops.
No, Leorio is popular for the election, so they're like, fuck it, let's just get this fucking guy. And and then Leorio was like, oh, well, you should get this guy I know. He's pretty good, Krapika. And then Cow Guy goes and he tells him that Tesseract has the last eyes of his people, and that's what convinces Krapika to like become a Zodiac and go on this mission.
Right.
Although,
Wow.
question though, you were thinking that like Theta would become a better, or Theta's thinking that like Paris or Tesseract would be a better person if he learned Nen. Like, do you think Donald Trump would be a better person if he gained the abilities of Superman?
No. He might be a better person though if he like meditated with the Buddhist monks though.
But he wouldn't. He doesn't have the attention span.
It's like a different kind of discipline, Nen is kind of like more like a mental discipline than it is a physical discipline.
Yeah, that is true. But Tesseract, he's a sadistic guy, but he doesn't get impatient and bored. We get that whole scene where he's like washing himself off after like cutting up some hoes, some random street girls, and he's just like, next time get me classified girls who can speak about art and literature and know the classical works of blah 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 blah. All they just wanted to talk about was sex.
Right. And that's the thing with that kind of like psychotic personality. Like, I was wondering if Nen would change him in some way, like make him realize, like he would reflect upon himself, like, oh shit, was I really was like kind of like a bastard on to all those people. Like, well, it should have a mental effect on people as well, right?
Nen, fucking made any of the monsters in Hunter x Hunter, become
but
better
they
people?
became I mean, that's the thing. They kind of became monsters after learning Nen in some respect. I think Nen did change them to some respect.
Did Hisoka become a better person after getting Nen?
No. But Hisoka, I think, personality-wise, did change after learning Nen. Remember from the Hisoka one-shot?
The Hisoka one-shot.
He was just a very curious guy who was kind of like a genius, and like he was like a natural, right? A natural who didn't really have a strong desire to kill people. He was just really curious about learning Nen, and he just felt like he was a genius and awesome at everything.
Well, he was awesome at everything, and he liked performing, and he liked gaining new skills, and that's how he kind of gained his Nen. It was just like an extension of him.
But he wasn't a murderer from the beginning.
No.
His teacher, he realized, was a murderer, and then he kind of like, I think he gained within him like this desire to one-up people in Nen fights, kind of like how he one-upped his teacher. So he loves the challenge of potentially killing other Nen users. He's just a really competitive person.
Yeah,
and it grew to a very psychotic level.
But or like, what about Crollo and the spiders, who, well, they can understand empathy for each other, but they don't give a shit. Nothing extends beyond that bubble, and they'll just like murder and trample anyone who gets in their way.
You're saying, what about Crollo?
Crollo and the spiders. They murder people by the hundreds.
Well, I don't know what Crollo was like before Nen. So I just know, like, through Nen, I think it changes people. Like, learning Nen, it has like a mental effect on people. And I think it should have somewhat of a mental effect on Tesseract as well. If he's like starting to learn going through the process of learning Nen and like
here's
focusing
an
his
interesting
mind.
question. Do you think Nen made like the Chimera Ant guards more human and less psychotic and less, dangerous?
Oh, absolutely. Like you could see like it changed them. Like when they started to learn like Nen and become like more humanly conscious about their abilities. Like what? I think. I mean, that's what I think. But the ants were also like inhuman as well. Like it's not exactly comparing like
Apples.
it's they're like aliens.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they gained empathy sometimes, but then other times they were just like very cruel.
Or just double down on their ant qualities like Pito. Or no, Poof was the crazy one.
Poof, which one was Poof
He
again?
was the butterfly guy.
Oh, yeah, but there's like some ants that are already born with the Nen powers, right? Yeah,
Yeah, or
those are ants that are already born with the Nen powers. The ants that actually do get Nen powers, their motivations change, their personalities can change based on that. Like, you remember the king?
Yeah.
Not the king, the lion guy,
Yeah.
who wanted to, with his new Nen powers, he became very devious. He wanted to kind of like subvert the system and
Well, he wanted to
get
become
a
the
favor
king,
from the king.
and eventually, like, get
the
the king's
king's
ability
power.
by having the king owe him a favor. That
Yes.
was his great ambition.
Yeah. So his motivation changed. He became more mischievous. Like, I think Nen has like a mental effect on people.
Interesting theory. Let us know in the comments below if you think learning Nen, makes people a better person, or if it just makes them a
But
more
it could
efficient
change
monster.
them. I'm saying it could change them. It has the potential to change Tesseric maybe a little bit for the better. Maybe he'll realize like,
I think those intestines and fingers like say differently. Well, I'm going to give this chapter an 8.0. I thought it was decent.
hey,
But
this is a 9.
No, it wasn't. It was just more extending details. I like the other chapter before because it had a conclusion. It gave us a fucking payoff. I don't like, sometimes I want things to be paid off. I don't want another 5 bajillion details. I want a payoff. I don't want, Tesseric to just he's got a 5 bajillion Nen beasts and this really cool ability, but we never know what it is.
I also want to know in the comments, which chapter do you like better, this one or the last one?
Go with my side. Chapter 383 was a masterpiece, while 384 was just like a, Hunter x Hunter as usual.
It's Hunter x Hunter as usual, but Hunter x Hunter as usual is gold. It's amazing. It's always amazing. I never doubt.
I'm glad you enjoyed that chapter so much. All right, so that was a very lengthy, in-depth Hunter x Hunter discussion. It's funny, they kind of taper off, then we go into tangents, and then we have another 20 minutes where we just talked about, does learning Nen make you a better person?
It's gotta. It changes you mentally. You can see it's sort of changing Tesseric and Theta's relationship because he wants to learn Nen.
We'll find out next week if it actually did, or maybe we'll learn about we'll learn about your favorite bodyguard, Shinomura. We'll have a whole chapter devoted to her.
Right.
Remember Wobble's bodyguard, the fugly woman?
Yeah, I think it's Shimaro. That's her name.
Shimaro. Maybe we'll just have that.
I gotta look her up again. Shimano.
Your favorite fucking character.
Where she had that super badass moment.
Yeah, with the phone.
Maybe that's the only badass moment she'll probably ever have, but that moment will live on in history, I think, in Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, you're a madman. All right, well, thank you for hanging out with us as we sat around and talk about our favorite manga. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.